Hello and welcome to the West Yorkshire Football Show. We're here for instant match reaction to Oxford United 0, Leeds United 1. Another huge step forward on what was a bit of a pressure cooker day. The Sheffield United result, the Burnley result, those guys picking up wins. The pressure was on a little bit, and I've got to say I was a little bit kind of, although we've been kind of, we've picked up our form and everything, I was a little bit edgy. I was on edge, before this game. I'd been out most of the day, got back at about 7 o'clock, and those nerves started to kick in. You wonder, is there another sting in the tail? Is something going to happen again? But all in all, really, really good job by Leeds United tonight. We're going to get into it. We're going to look at the players, the performance. Can't wait to chat about all of it. If you're watching along live, do like the video, get subscribed to the channel, and get your comments in. And if you're watching this again later, drop us a comment. Let us know what you thought of the match and what we've had to say about this. I'm Stephen Brown. With me, as ever, is Jayson Booker. Just a few minutes after full time, after adding 7 or 8 minutes on from somewhere. Yeah, surprise. Give them another chance. Jayson, we're another step closer. It's just 3 games remain now. We've got the 5-point lead maintained against Sheffield United. How are you feeling, mate? Just a few minutes after full time.
Yeah, well, I said before, a win tonight and it were done. I'm going to stick my neck out and say it's done. I think it's done. I think I've watched all 3 games today.
Yes, you have, yeah.
And I just don't see a world in which Sheffield United got a Turf Moor and win. I mean, they were utterly woeful earlier. And the only thing that saved them was the fact that they were playing probably the worst team in the division right now in Cardiff. I know technically Plymouth are below them in the division, but we've seen a bit of fight and whatnot from Plymouth recently. They were unlucky today to go and lose in the last minute against Middlesbrough away from home after beating Sheffield United. Cardiff were terrible. Literally terrible. And if they'd have had a little bit of anything, they'd have beaten Sheffield United today. They were terrible, Sheffield United. So I'm not at all concerned, if I'm honest, right now. Things can change. And it'd be the absolute monster of all throwaways if we were meant to be able to throw this away. Because even if Sheffield United went there and did the unthinkable, that would then involve us not picking up the points that we needed and Burnley and Sheffield United both picking up the points that they need, given the fact that they've got to play each other. So we're running out of potential, like, mess up room. We only technically need a maximum of 4 more points. We can afford to lose one of them. We need a maximum of 4 more points, and that's even if Sheffield United beat Burnley. So I'm happy to say it's for me, we're there. But that said, there is still games to play. There's still football to be seen. And I mean, personally, again, I've been seeing all 3 games. We were by far the best out of the 3 teams chasing the spot. Burnley had played against Watford, who had nothing to play. Sheffield United played against Cardiff, who have everything to play for. And we were playing against Oxford, who arguably probably have nothing to play for, maybe need 1 more point to confirm survival. And we were by far head and shoulders the best team out of the 3 by a mile. And I'm not just saying that through a bias. I thought we were very good tonight. Again, as we've seen this season, we were just 1 or 2 clinical moments away from it being extremely comfortable. I thought we were comfortable in the ball. We knocked it around with the confidence. We defended brilliantly. We put up against everything that Oxford kind of threw at us, which we knew that they would. I would say outside of 1 moment, maybe 10 minutes in, shot that Darlow dealt with pretty easily. They had nothing. Darlow kind of give them half a moment.
Mistake, wasn't it, as well, really? Tanaka slipping, losing the ball and whatnot.
Yeah, they never troubled us. We kept them at arm's length, and we always felt like we were on the edge of scoring the second. We hit the post. We had other good chances. We had other good crosses. I mean, the Solomon was cutting them to pieces in the first half. Second half, it was less effective, but first half, and the pass across that they defended well to Nonto, like, these half moments don't register as a shot or a, but the key moments are that could end up in a goal. And lo and behold, as we've been saying now for weeks, Browney, me and you, the goal comes from where it comes from. Bogle cross for Solomon. The man's there. He's the match winner, and
what can you say? I mean, it's absolutely.
When it matters, when these are the key moments. QPR, Preston last week.
Yeah,
the man steps up again tonight. The man steps up, And, you know, and then, and I know we're going to get into individuals, but a quick mention for Joe Rodon, my word, what an absolute colossus he was tonight. He was brilliant. And he just runs everything. He looks so much more comfortable with Ampadu and Caldalo alongside him. He just looks every bit the best centre-back in the division, with the exception of Esteve for Burnley. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think that's a great place to start, actually, Joe Rodon, because deservedly man of the match. And I mean, he was incredible tonight. He was absolutely outstanding. This is a guy, by the way, who plays consistently at very, very high level. You know, I think you could argue one of our best players, if not best player last season. I think this year he's been absolutely sensational again. But tonight, you know, because you're coming up against a team that are physical, you're coming up against a team that are going to try and rough us up. You know, the long throws, the crosses, the corners, you know, all that stuff. But he won everything. And he just plays with that fire and that intensity, and he knows when to push up, he knows when to hold the line. You know, he's barking at other players, get in line, get those offsides, you know, get an offside trap going, and you know, I mean, on the ball as well. You know, I mean, the pass through for the goal. I mean, you know, that's unreal. You know, that's unreal. And you know, second half when he took the ball off Dan James and he's the one bombing forward and wins a free kick, you know, I mean, there's nothing this man can't do. I mean, I'm watching him tonight going, this is like unreal level that Joe Rodon's at.
Joe Rodon for me has always been the ball playing centre back in the back two, but the statistics on paper, it would say it was Pascal. But when you actually use the eye test and you go and have a look at the centre back that actually pins the ball into effective areas and doesn't give the ball away, it's Joe Rodon. He often does it with Bogle, and he really punches it into that wing. He's dependable. He carries the ball out of the back line way better than Pascal does with proper assurance. He's not as good at it, but he's very similar to Ben White. It was very similar to the Ben White that we saw in the Championship, that he'd carry the ball out of that back line. Similar kind of pace and everything. Same body structure. The way that he carries himself is even similar. So, I mean, for me, he's been sensational outside the first maybe 3 games of the season.
Yeah.
I remember me and you kind of both scratching our heads saying, well, what's going on with this?
Joe Rodon?
I remember us thinking it in pre-season. We watched him a couple of times in pre-season. We're like, what is this all about? But after the first few weeks, I mean, he's been excellent. And I've said it before, and maybe I have got an agenda, but he's been carrying Pascal. And I think we're seeing it. We're now seeing the proof of that. He's been carrying Pascal all season for me. And now that he's got Ampadu alongside him who he trusts, and even more so, he's got Darlow behind him that he trusts, he looks like he can go and express himself into his own game and play the way that he knows he can play. And he just complements the whole team. I just thought it was brilliant tonight. And I don't really see Joe Rodon as somebody wearing the captain's armband, but he looked like a real leader tonight. Everything about him was just like, I'm taking charge of this. Like, he was... I said Solomon was the match winner, but he was the game winner really today, Joe Rodon. Yeah. We often look at Ampadu for it to kind of carry the team together, but it was all Rodon tonight. It was brilliant.
Absolutely. Gavin, Rodon, man of the match. John, we're stronger for having Rodon, Ampadu, and Darlow at the back here. I mean, and this is the thing. I mean, that trio of players have come together this time of the season when we were in a rocky patch. Yeah. You know, when you've got Struijk and Meslier in your team, I don't care what anyone says. You just look at the evidence, look at the stats. Everything's in the air in front of you. We've seen it week after week, mistake after mistake that these guys were making. And it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence that Ampadu comes back in, Darlow's come in, and it just looks so solid. I mean, you know, we were playing a team tonight that's our kryptonite. You know, if you've got Struijk and Meslier there. I mean, God, can you imagine Meslier under those long throws tonight?
Browney, we were saying it while we were winning games. I mean, we've all been saying it about Meslier, but with regards to Pascal, I was saying it when we were winning because the eye test were telling you the only thing that wasn't happening was the opposition was scoring a goal from it, but the mistakes were there. The moments, don't get me wrong, all players are going to make mistakes. Firpo made a couple tonight. Ampadu is capable of making a mistake at centre-back because he's not a perfect out-and-out centre-back. But in the way that we play, given how good he is defensively, and then what he does with on the ball, the leadership, the all-round kind of confidence and everything that he gives us in there. He's light years better than Pascal Struijk in this Leeds team. It's not even up for debate. Just go and watch the games with and without him. Go and watch the way that Pascal carries the ball. Go and watch his body positioning. Go and watch when he gets caught out of position. Like all the time, it's happening. He gets caught chasing into left back zones, and he's just not it. Like he's an average Championship centre back, and I'm telling you, he would be one of the first people that I'd see out of the team next season. But I don't want to have a negative spin on. No. We are literally on the cusp of promotion. There's nothing
funny how it works, though. Isn't it funny how it works?
Silver lining, mate. I told you.
If Melia was still in there, if Struijk was still in there, who knows? Yeah. And those little issues can cause big problems.
The silver lining of the second goal against Swansea, it's now coming back around to show that actually, since then we've taken 9 points out of 9. There's a fair shout to say that we wouldn't have done if Melia had been in net. And Pascal getting the injury that took him out for the season, as much as I would never wish an injury on a player, absolutely not. I know that Daniel Farke wouldn't have dropped Pascal to bring Ampadu into that back line, but it's been a blessing in disguise because Daniel Farke's not perfect. He ain't going to make all the right decisions, but the right decision would be that Pascal rides bench, Verba's out of the squad if you don't like Verba, and Ampadu's in the back line. It's as simple. It's like I say, it's not even for debate, and it has coincided with us getting the form back together, us playing far better than we have done over the weeks before. And I mean, the last 3 performances have all been pretty good. We should have beaten Middlesbrough 3-0, who were, riding really good form at the moment. They're going to finish in the playoffs now, it looks. And we go and we beat Preston comfortably. We would have won that game really on any other day, 4 or 5-1 or 0 if they hadn't scored the screamer. And then tonight again could have been 3 or 4, and we never looked like conceding.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Gavin, 10 million well spent. Nige, best 10 million Leeds spent recently on Rodon. Absolutely outstanding tonight. But as Johnny says here, so was Bogle. He was an absolute bargain as well. And this is it. We're right on the brink now, and it feels like it's just come back together at the right time there. I mean, just quickly to finish up on the Struijk point, I don't want to hammer this on because it feels pretty pointless on a kind of good feeling game to kind of harp on about it, but I don't want to see him anywhere near a potential Premier League situation. I just don't. I think it's that would worry me if anyone's thinking that he should be starting in the Premier League. I can't help you. I don't know what to say because he's miles away from it.
We kind of broached on the potential for players that might have some value to sell on to reinforce our team for next season if we do need some extra funds. He could be one that we look at because I do believe there'd be interest from Europe for him. I could imagine a PSG maybe signing him. Like, I'm not saying he's that level, but I could imagine that kind of club in a bit of a wishy-washy league signing him as a third choice centre back. He absolutely would. I mean, his injury concerns alone are enough to put you at a bit of a worry for him. I wouldn't want him anywhere near a Premier League side, mate. I really wouldn't. And I wouldn't want Ethan Ampadu to be starting centre-back either. But in the Championship, he's elite, so he deals with it.
Gets away with it, absolutely. Just in terms of performance, I think you're absolutely right as well. It feels like we've got the juice back in our performances these last 3 games. It feels like, the passing combinations, I mentioned it, after the Preston game, it just feels like things are clicking into gear. You're seeing those little give and goes. But there's also a toughness, there's a robustness to Leeds at the minute. And I think it's helped by those 3 players at the base of defence. Interesting game for a few of the players as well. I mean, Brendan Aronson, someone I want to shout out tonight. I thought Brendan was absolutely outstanding tonight. I thought he was good on the ball, off the ball, the way he's using his body, protecting the ball, winning free kicks, creative as well. But he just looked so sharp tonight, did Brendan? I thought he was really, really good. Lucky not to get a goal. Actually, he did well for that. But I thought he was superb tonight, Brendan.
Linked the play really, really well. Was buzzing around. His press was brilliant as it usually is. But tonight I thought he was a bit more effective with the ball. Linked up the players in between the full-backs. Got Pirot involved where he can. I mean, Pirot again. I saw somebody mention that he'd lost his shooting boots. I don't think he had a shot tonight. But Pirot played really well off the ball. And again, I'm going to keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. The 9 isn't there. This is going to sound ridiculous because it does sound ridiculous, but his predominant job within this system isn't actually to score goals. They're all bonus goals. The goals come exactly like our first goal did today. Bogle to Solomon, or Solomon into James or Bogle. But that's where the majority of our goals come from. Solomon hit 18 GNA now. Dan James is at 21. That's not fluke. Firpo and Bogle have both got 6 and 7 goals each, I think. And I think they're both on 9 and 10 assists. It's nuts, the level of assists that they've got and the way that we're playing. It is very difficult to deal with. Some teams have managed to deal with it. But on the whole, we've just clocked 91 points, guys, with 3 games to go. It's insane. So, I thought they were all brilliant tonight, with the exception, maybe, if I'm being critical of Willie Gnonto, I don't think he did enough. It wasn't a bad performance, but I'd just like to see him be a little bit more effective and a little bit more, I don't know, just really grasp this opportunity. He's had 2 starts, and I felt like he's been the worst player for Leeds in both of them. So, But anyway, maybe we can come to that. I think just coming back to Brendan, I just think since Luton away and he didn't start and he should have done, he's proven that he's the best we've got. I'm not saying he's the best we could have had, or is what we need in the Premier League. I'm not saying that, but in terms of the options that we've got available to us in that 10 role, is the best we've got, and he had a good game tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, if you could do us a favour, smash a like on the video. Thank you very much. Get subscribed if you're not already as well. I think it's worked well with Brendan as well, with that international break, having a good rest, good 2-week rest, and it's just recharged those batteries. Speaking of Gnonto, I was a little bit. I was frustrated with Gnonto tonight. I'm not going to lie. He's probably one of the points tonight that I'd marked down. Do you know what it is, Jason? I was watching him and I kind of felt like I'd kind of figured it out almost. I figured out what the issue is and why this guy is clearly talented but not being able to nail down a place. And I think it's lack of intensity. And I think I really saw that tonight. There was a bit in the first half where he had the ball on the wing, acres of space, and kind of looked lackadaisical, looked kind of slow and kind of, and I know that Gnonto is a kind of player, it's kind of all about composure, and he does slow things down, and but I was frustrated. He can't press to save his life. He can't press. Watching him sometimes trying to close players down, it looks like he's running through treacle. He just doesn't have that intensity. And I think with Dan James, it's all about intensity, runs and pressing, and and I just feel Gnonto just does not have the intensity that a manager like Farke demands and requires. And I think that is part of the problem, and why we've not seen more of him, and probably Ramazani, Joseph too, maybe. So I was a bit frustrated with Willie, because I thought, he has had 2 unbelievable opportunities, in these games come by. I thought he was very disappointing tonight, because tonight's the kind of game, where you're going up against a physical team. You've got to be right bang at it. When I look at Bogle, when I look at Rodon, even, Peru, the way he was kind of charged about, you need to see some intensity in the play. And I just feel like Gnonto really, really lacks that, Jason. I do.
Yeah, just quickly before I say my bit, you have gone a bit pixelated and a little bit behind. The voice is fine, but the camera.
Okay. It was doing well, wasn't it? But
it was doing well. Yeah, you might need a reset.
Yeah, I've got a little Wi-Fi issue. I'm going to leave and come back in. Okay.
Yeah. I'll send a bit on. On Gnonto. I think with Willie, I think he unfortunately isn't what he can't offer what Solomon can, and he can't offer what Dan James can. But both of them have the quality, but are also industrial at the same time. So it's not a case that they're just relying on raw out and out talent. They actually put in the workload as well. And I don't think it's a case that Willie doesn't try. I just think it's that it's not a part of his game. And when he is carrying the ball, everything is lateral across the pitch. He's always coming across the pitch. He never gives that threat of driving to the byline. And I just think he just limits the threat that he then gives us. That looks better, right? Looks all good.
Yeah, I've got my little Wi-Fi one has gone off.
Just saying, I think with Gnonto, and I've been saying this pretty much all season, I think you've kind of agreed with it, is that I think people's expectation of him is actually higher than what his current level is. I just think he is what he is. I think he's a second or third option winger for either side, and he's young, he's got ability, he's got potential, but he's just not as good as Dan James or Manor Solomon. He can't get to the byline in the same way that them two can. He always wants to come across the pitch. It's never driving to the byline, so the defenders know which way he's going to go. And I think defensively, he's just not as much of a workhorse as either of them. I think Solomon and Dan James just work so hard that it allows Bogle and Firpo to get caught out of position and not maybe be as efficient defensively because they've got backup. Whereas Nonto just won't do that. So, yeah, he fills a hole, mate, but he's just nowhere near the level of Solomon or Dan James yet. He's not.
No. In terms of how Leeds dealt with that physical side tonight, I mean, that was one of the most impressive aspects for me was, these long throws, into the box. And I feel like a few games ago that would have caused absolute chaos. But how impressed were you how we dealt with that side of it tonight? Because I thought that was a big part of, why we won the game.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we outfought them, to be honest. They will 100% put it on you. The likes of Hellick, Will Volks, big long throws. They've got some big bodies in there. And we stood up to every single test. The midfield battle, I thought we won really, really well. I thought Tanaka wasn't great going the other way. He had moments. It was better than he has been over recent weeks. But he plugged holes really, really well. He read the game really, really well to make some vital interceptions. And I thought, again, Gruev will just go under the radar. I thought he was brilliant against Preston. Absolutely brilliant against Preston. He was arguably a man of the match, if not for Solomon's goal and assist. And again, I thought tonight it was excellent. I thought it was really good tonight. Was Gruev linked play really well, dictated the pace really, really well, which then meant that we could get the upper advantage in that battle. But when he had to put himself about, he did. But even the likes of Pirot, Pirot put himself about a little bit again tonight as well, which is good to see. There were moments where he held the ball up and he's not been able to do that. And again, another nod for Pat. Pat comes on.
He's ridiculous. How good is his touch?
I know.
What is going on?
The ball up. I mean, again, he looked brilliant. He wins free kicks. He must have killed 3 or 4 minutes of that added time by himself because he's just holding the ball up, winning free kicks. I thought it was excellent. Excellent again, mate. And I'm so pleased for him. Regardless of whether he scores or not between the end of the season, he's made a telling contribution to the running. And that's massive. And he deserves to go out in the right way. He really does. Because I'm sure one way or another he's going to leave the club at the end of this season, and I think it's probably the right time to. But that said, I mean, it's going to be, if we go up, he's going to be on 70 grand a week with a year to play. It might be hard to shift, mate. Yeah. But that's a conversation for a different day. I would love to see him go out, in the right way, and I think he is doing. Like he looks fit as well. He looks sharp.
He does. So, I haven't seen a Bamford look like that for a long, long time. I mean, his first touch and everything was insane. And it has since he's come back. He just looks absolutely on fire. And like you say, it might be hard to shift, but maybe there's a relegated Premier League team that might go. You know what? Actually, we'll cover his wages. We'll do something with Pat. It looks like
you could imagine. Sorry, I interrupted
you.
No, you could imagine if Sheffield United didn't go up, you could imagine him going there. As a replacement for like a Kiefer Moore or even a Burnley. Like if they didn't go up, I'm pretty sure Burnley are going to do it as well now. But I'm really pleased for him. I'm actually really, really happy for him. So I think a lot of things have been labelled at this team, and maybe even me and you have questioned them to a point. The bottle is certainly one of them. And I think certainly one thing, I've never questioned their bottle, if I'm honest. I'm going to be dead straight and say that I haven't. But one thing I definitely have questioned of them is a bit of fight in the tough ones.
Yes.
In the really, really rough, muddy games where you don't want to get stuck in. Technically, we're so much better. But have they got that bit of fight that you need to beat an Oxford away on a Friday night? And they've proved over this last 3 games, mate, they've got it all. They've got it all in absolute abundance. If ever they were going to go under, it were against Middlesbrough away, and then it were again tonight when the pressure was really, really on. And, for me, they passed it with flying colours. They passed it with absolute flying colours.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's inarguable. I think I really do. As Gaia says here, 91 points, already surpassing last year's total. these last 3 games last season, we accrued 1 point. This time it's 9. We are going up, MOT. Yeah, it's looking good, isn't it? Skip, what was everyone worried about? Cruising. Kevin, welcome along, my friend, evening to the panel. Yeah, it's we're just in that good time, aren't we, Jason? You know, it's just right there for us. I mean, it take a hell of a swing for it to go the other way. It's going to be interesting watching the Burnley Sheffield United game, actually, because you can kind of watch it and think, well, you know, we're kind of out of that little thing. Because if Sheffield United beat Burnley,
we play first.
You know, yeah. So if
we play at 3 o'clock. So
feet up.
If we win, we're watching that game, praying for a draw,
loving it,
and Burnley to win if not, you know. And we're up. I mean, I'll be literally waiting to jump in the car and drive to Ellen Road or drive to Millennium at 11 o'clock at night. I'll be going. I'm not even bothered. Like, work the next day can deal with work the next day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going. Yeah. I missed it last time. I wish I hadn't. I wish I'd have gone, but we didn't know what we knew at the time, and the COVID and all the rest of it. I made the decision not to go. I wish I had, and I will be going at whatever time, whatever moment it is. I'll be going. So
me and Jason will be there.
It's so close, isn't it? It really is so close, and I'm pleased for us and us as fans, but I'm pleased for the players and the club. And I know Daniel Farke has got his grief this season, and I was watching him at the end. You know, he's doing the olays and he's taking the claps, and he's sat there with 3 games to go on 91 points, 2 years in a row as manager of Leeds United, and the guy gets so little credit because the go-to is he should do it. He's got a good squad, blah blah blah, and sure, he has got a good squad. But you could argue that the more recently relegated Burnley and Sheffield United should have better squads. You could easily argue that. Yeah. And he is, and not only are we top of the league, but we have been the best team all season without a shadow of a doubt. Every week, we're turning up, playing the best football. We look the best we're certainly much more entertaining to watch than Burnley. And Farke gets labelled boring. I mean, so he deserves it, man, and the players deserve it.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely spot on. I think it was a very, very difficult situation when we got relegated from the Premier League. You know, these players came in, Farke came in, picking up pieces, really. You know, players like Ampadu, I'm so happy for someone like that who, you know, we all recognised it as an unbelievable deal at the time, being able to get Ethan Ampadu. And it feels like for him, he's been rewarded in taking that chance. Not another loan move. He could have easily got a loan move somewhere. Probably could have, you know, been loaned to us. You know, that was probably discussed. But he's come permanently. Joe Rodon, obviously, guys like that. You know, Peru making the move last year. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant that you know, it's come together for these guys. I'm just looking again. How do you get some energy drink down you? You look shattered, mate. I've been at Whitbit all day, mate. I was out the door driving for 2 hours at 7 a.m. So yes, I'm absolutely shattered, mate. But do you know what? Leeds United are keeping me up, and it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, no, I think you know, and the Farke thing as well. I mean, it's fascinating, really. And look, let's be honest, there'll be a lot of fans in the summer saying we need to boot him out and get someone in and all that kind of thing. We know that, but it's kind of been overshadowed, the job he's done and these players, because it's like, oh, they should just do it and all that kind of thing. And you know, it takes a lot of work, and the way we've done it as well. I mean, we, you know, this season, I mean, we've said, how many times have we said it, that I think it's been better this season, the football, than last year. I preferred watching us this season much more to last year. And he lost. I mean, look at the players he lost in the summer. Yeah. You know, look at that. I mean, that's, you know, people talk about, well, salaries and, you know, wage bills and all this. Look who we lost. We lost Rutter, Somerville, Archie Gray, you know, Kamara. You know, it's like we lost a big chunk of that team, and to be able to rebuild it, go again, get 90 points again, get to this point. You know, it's
the team is also extremely.
We would have gone up last year. Last year we were free. Yeah. We would have gone up last year. We would absolutely.
If we'd have started with the team that we ended the window with, I believe we'd have gone up as well.
We'd have gone up, yeah.
I do. I believe we'd have pipped Ipswich to the second spot. But absolutely. You know, it is what it is, and that's a rebuild that he had to contend with, and he's had to contend with the rebuild of its sorts this season as well. And people take for granted how inexperienced this team is. It's an extremely young team. I think it's still the youngest team in the division, if I'm right. So, he's certainly up there with one of the youngest. And, losing the likes of Liam Cooper as an example, you can't, like, as much as he wasn't a player that I would want to see play anymore for Leeds United starting week in, week out, you can't buy the experience that he gives that group. We don't have that. And the players are having to adapt and, gain that experience on the job and kind of find it from within themselves to carry on, doing that and leading and dealing with the pressure. And again, we talk about this blip and this wobble that we had. We've lost one game in, I think it's now 29 games, Brownie. One game we've lost in 29. Outside of the Portsmouth loss, which I think came in March, the last time we lost were like November or something silly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's been a sensational season.
And a ridiculous bar's been set again, isn't it, with these three teams as well?
Yeah, it has.
Again, it's like, surely what happened again? Yeah, it has. It's happened again. Three teams there at the top, absolutely killing it. But thank God it looks as if it's going to kind of land for us. And look, make no mistake, it was vital getting up this season. We mentioned it on the show yesterday. It would have been a disaster if we don't go up this season. And, the fact is, even, look, the reality is it's going to be difficult next season. And we may even yo-yo in the near future. But if you're able to bank that money, you've got more chance of coming up again. So and that's not where we want to be, obviously, but it's the realities, isn't it? The more Premier League you've tasted, the better chance you've got of getting out the Championship. I think it's so important. It was so important not to start another Championship era where it's like 10 years in the Championship.
Yeah.
I think that's for us as a fan base, for Club 49ers, where we want to be. I mean, we don't want another Championship era. We've tasted that. We've had that for far too long. Our Premier League era was here. That's where we need to be now, no doubt about it. And
I agree. I agree, because you end up getting stuck into a bit of a cycle then, don't you? Routine hits, the fans kind of become more used to it as time goes on, and that drive drops, and the players, obviously, they rotate and move on, and the players that you get in to replace them are not as good, and before you know it, you're not a playoff team anymore, and you're hoping to make a push at some point for another run at promotion. And we hear it, and West Brom are there, Norwich are there. It's hard for Leeds fans to hear this, and we are bigger than them teams. Of course we are, but we're in the same realm, unfortunately, as some of them teams. And if we were to stay down again, we would very much be within that kind of pool. Your Middlesbroughs, who have spent way more time in the Premier League than us in more recent years. Norwich, West Brom. These teams.
100%.
It's true, and Burnley, Sheffield United are above them. Really, they're the bracket of the yo-yo. I'd be happy just to get into that yo-yo. I don't want that to be the aspiration for my team, but given the landscape of world football and English football, it's absolutely vital.
Fulham did it for a few years. They went up and down a couple of times.
Bournemouth did it a couple of times.
Bournemouth. And now look at them, because it's, you're able to do it. Hopefully it'll just be, look, we forget these days, don't we? 10 years ago, we were a feeder club to Norwich. Like, I hated Norwich from every fibre. I was like, why are you signing our best player? How are we a feeder club?
Up. Next transfer window it was Johnny Howson, then it was Robert Snodgrass,
Bradley Johnson. It's go away, Norwich.
Painful,
you're Norwich.
Yeah.
No,
Sam Byron.
Yeah.
I mean, did Sam Byron go straight there or go? No, he went to West Ham. He went to West Ham.
It's like we don't want to be that. We don't want to be a feeder club for Norwich. So we need to get back at it. Look, we're nearly there now. Going into Monday, then, Jason, it's a short turnaround, obviously. Are you kind of at the stage now where it's like fully just sit back and relax and kind of see what happens? I mean, Stoke at home, I mean, it's tantalizing, isn't it? I mean, it's, you don't want to say a banker, but I mean, it's just everything's in our favour. Is there any danger of overconfidence? Is there any danger of fluffing our lines at this stage? I mean, nine points possible left to get, and we're 5 points clear.
I really don't think so. I really, really don't think so. I think, the players have been there where complacency has been thrown at them a couple of times, that they've had that accusation thrown at them. And I think there's been some credit behind that. Again, young team, they can get caught caught guilty, I guess, of maybe thinking that they've done it when they were 8 points clear and all the rest of it. Maybe that did happen. I'm not sure. But I certainly don't think after only squeaking these wins by 1 goal with everything there at the fingertips, they're going to get complacent at that moment. I can't imagine there's a world in which Stoke get through that game with winning the game. I would almost say it's impossible, given the fever pitch atmosphere that Ellen Road's going to be at 3:00 on Easter Monday. The fact that we play first before the other two play in the later kickoff, the fact that we know a win pretty much seals it. I mean, regardless of what Sheffield United do, a win only leaves us needing a point. Like, that's it. Is that right? Or we would be 8 points clear. They would have 9 to go for, and with the goal difference. So we'd need a point out of the last 2, and that's if Sheffield United beat Burnley, which they're not gonna. No. I cannot see any world in which Sheffield United beat Burnley on Monday night. I can't make that. Excuse me, they are so bad. They were so bad, and they've been so poor all season. And they've carried them so far before the wheels fell off a few games ago. So I just can't see it, mate. I just cannot see it. Stoke hit 50 points today. They won, beat Sheffield Wednesday again, who are absolutely imploding at the moment at Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, Danny Rowe looks like he's going to leave. Anyway, we don't talk about Sheffield Wednesday, but they're having a bit of a wobble of their own. So Stoke hopefully are just going to be on the beach. They're cushy, they're home and hose. They can't. I don't think they physically can go down now. They certainly won't with the amount of teams that are in between them and the relegation zone. So fingers crossed they just turn up and let us tickle the belly. And I just can't imagine that this team are going to turn up on Monday without anything other than an absolute rampant performance at Ellen Road. I really can't.
Dan James back in, do you think?
It's hard to know how fit he is, isn't it? He didn't look great when he came on.
Yeah, I would say he didn't seem to want to kind of
like full speed.
Stretch it, yeah.
So I'm not sure. His first touch for a bit of a bobbler. We don't need to risk it. Again, as much as Dan James is by far better than Willie Gnonto at the moment, at this stage of the career, you can still get away with using Willie Gnonto in the Championship. He's still a very good Championship player. Or maybe even you give Ramazani an opportunity. Or maybe you even give Isaac Schmidt an opportunity. Every time Schmidt's come on, he looks great. He's looked great.
What a pass that he punched in today. I was like, look at this guy. What's he up to?
He's a tidy player. I've seen enough of him now to say that he can contribute. I don't know whether he'll be a Premier League player or not, but a Premier League utility man.
Final position will be either. It's
exactly.
But it's kind of nice actually because he can kind of wing and full back and kind of game state, can't he? Some comments coming in from Daniel Farker. Let's see what he's had to say. So Farker, big compliment for the defence. Oxford have an unbelievable throw. Rodon had to win 127 headers today. Great resilience. We have a smaller side, but we dealt with all these situations. Happy with this. I have too many games in this crazy league. In great shape. Consecutive wins at this stage. Important. Nothing is done yet. You have to fight for every point. Keep your nerve. The league is relentless. Competitors are strong and showing resilience. Have to keep going. Good scenario, but every game is difficult. Cannot allow yourself to think too far into the future. You have to be good in the here and now. Will not allow myself to think too far. Quick turnaround for Monday. Stoke come with freedom and confidence. Stoke unbeaten in 5. Some good wins in there as well. 3 wins. But I mean, we've seen other teams go. I mean, I remember when we went down to Coventry and spanked them, and they were in a great run. I mean, there's no need to fear anyone, is there? Yeah, Middlesbrough.
Just the other week.
God, when you reflect on that as well, and how we went up there and did that job. I mean, it's sensational, really, isn't it?
I can't see, and I'd be interested to get the kind of opinion of everybody in the chat and yours, Browney. Like, there's an argument to say that we don't even need any more points. And I'm just throwing that out there. Well, no, there is, because I think it's very, very conceivable.
Please don't do that, Leeds.
Please don't do that, no. But the likelihood is we're going to get some points between now and the end of the season, right? Yeah. What I'm saying is we're all saying that Burnley are probably going to beat Sheffield United on Monday. I think they will, right? That'd leave the gap at 5 points with 2 games to play. So when you think of it like that, it's almost impossible. It would be the creme de la creme of Leeds balls ups to mess this up from this point of view. you know, from from the position that we're in. I mean, are we really not going to get a single point out of Stoke and Bristol, the 2 last home games? I don't see it. And I really do think Burnley beat them.
Oh, Sheffield United got then after Burnley. Let me have a quick look. So they've got Stoke. Yeah, they've got Stoke themselves and then Blackburn at home on the final day of the season.
They're probably both winnable. But we've seen with Sheffield United that they're not playing like us or even Burnley. You know, Burnley weren't great today, but they did have moments. I mean, they should have been. Have you seen the save today?
No, I kept seeing about Trafford though. It's like,
mate, go and watch it. Go and find it on Twitter after maybe even go and find it now. And I'm sure those in the chat have seen it. He pulls out an absolute wonder save. But the crazy thing is, Browney, he pulls this wonder save out, he throws the ball down, gives it to the centre-back. Burnley punt it long, it gets knocked down, Zan Fleming heads it in. It literally, no more than 10 seconds after Watford hit the bar to go 2-0 up from this save, the ball's in the back of the other net, and it's 1-1. It's insane. Jesus. The save is nuts. So,
God, I'm trying to find it now. Yeah, what a save. Yeah, moments before. Oh, God, let's have a look at this. Jesus. Yeah, he's ridiculous, isn't he?
But then,
he is absolutely ridiculous.
The second half, Watford just have an absolute implosion. The referee loses all control of the game. Watford end up down to 9 men. And it's just, yeah, I mean, Burnley go about it very differently to us. Fair play to them. They've built an unbelievable recipe. I think fair play to Scott Parker. I've given him loads of grief. I thought it was a banker to struggle with Burnley this year. Or you not struggle, but be in the playoffs. I thought it'd be us and Sheffield United. And he's done brilliant. And he's built it around a fantastic defence, playing very regimental, structured football. He's added some sprinkle of a gold dust to it in January and Marcus Edwards. And I think they'll end up coming up with us now. I think they beat Sheffield United.
How do you think they do in Premier League? Do you think it's like? Do you think they'll be able to kind of continue this defensive structure and solidity?
Depends who they keep hold of, doesn't it? I mean, Burnley trying to keep hold of James Trafford and Esteve. Esteve. I never know how to pronounce that. Esteve. Yeah. Is more unlikely than us keeping hold of Ampadu and Tanaka, as an example, like whoever you want to say your best players. I can just imagine both of them leaving and Burnley being in a bit of a mess because they are very dependent on them two to create what they've got. And Egan Riley's good as well, the other centre back, and Brownell's really good at championship level. Scored an unbelievable amount of goals for a midfielder. I think he's on 15 for the season. He's only a few off of the top scorer now. 14-15 he's on. So I think they'll finish on more points than the bottom 3 have this season.
Yeah.
But I think they'll still go back down. And I think whoever else comes up with them would be exactly the same. They'll come back down. And I think we might go back down. I think we would have to really pull out a recruitment miracle to make sure that we are able to usurp West Ham, Wolves, Everton, Brentford, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, whichever one of them is going to have an off season and be in and around 38, 39 points. That's what you got to hope for in the first season.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we have a look at the league table? Here we go.
Do it.
There we go. Leeds United, first place. 83 goals, by the way, Jason. I mean, Jesus. Not bad, is it? 54 goals.
The GA is not bad either, though, is it?
No. Ridiculous. And you look at the XG as well, and that's off the scale, isn't it, compared to what we could have scored and what we should have conceded. But 91 points, there we go. 5 points clear of Sheffield United. Going into the final 3 games. I mean, that's just I love looking at it, to be fair.
What do you think? What do you think now?
Yeah, I mean, I think a point. If we get a point, I think it's 100% done. I mean, it feels done, but it's, I think 1 point. I think all we need is 1 point now, and that is it. I don't see Sheffield United beating Burnley. What I would actually love, just to make it interesting, is for us to win, beat Stoke, and Sheffield United to beat Burnley, just to let them have
a draw. A draw would do. Don't get greedy. Don't get greedy, because if Sheffield United win, it then goes on. We could still balls it up then. I don't. No, we don't want that, Brownie. That's been too greedy.
Is that too?
Yeah,
too
let's
far?
have it confirmed on Monday. I want it confirmed Monday. Okay, so no. So if Burnley don't win, a draw is perfect because that leaves us then 2 points in front of Burnley with 2 games to go. We can go and win the title. Burnley would still potentially be catchable, which it'd probably be too much. They'd probably still get the points that they need. Still keeps it open, but it doesn't mean that Sheffield United can still catch us. If Sheffield United beat Burnley on Monday, it goes on. The gap would be 5 points with 2 to go.
Oh, it's a weird one then, isn't it? Because we don't play till the following Monday.
Yeah, we play Bristol City the following Monday.
God, the following Monday. I don't think it'll be done against Stoke. I just don't.
I do. Well, so you don't think we're going to go up on Monday?
No.
So you think Sheffield United win or Leeds don't?
Yeah.
Brownie, no. That's the pessimistic Leeds fan talking.
I'm going to refer to this earlier comment. Still too damaged from years of supporting Leeds to say we're going up. No,
the only way that I don't see it being done on Monday.
It looks at it, it's it's right there, but I don't know. I mean, it's the champion. It's wacky, innit? It's just wacky.
The only way it's not done on Monday is if we both win. Leeds and Sheffield United both win. I think. I don't see Sheffield United winning that game. I don't think they've got a chance. If I'm honest, I genuinely don't think they've got a chance. But I do you then think that Leeds don't win?
Well, how can we not win? If we still win, is there any way we win and don't get declared as going up?
If they win, if Sheffield United win on Monday,
that's what I think. That's what I think could happen.
You think Sheffield United are going to beat Burnley at Turf Moor?
I don't think. No, logically, I don't. I just feel wacky football championship, the football gods.
Burnley have not lost at home all season. They've not conceded more than one goal all season.
I know. They've not. Is that right? They've only. How many goals have they conceded at home?
They've conceded 14 goals all season. They've not conceded more than one in a single game all year.
Game, right?
Yeah. At home. I don't know about away, but at home. I heard them saying it earlier.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean,
but if we win and Sheffield United do win, we're still 3 points ahead of Burnley with 2 games to go and 5 ahead of Sheffield United with 2 to go.
So it's playing with fire.
Well, it is.
I'm going to get clipped up. It's going to be my fault, isn't it now?
It is, but it's probably even more inconceivable.
They will win to stress us out. Yeah, exactly.
But it's probably even more inconceivable that both of them go in front of us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially with our goal difference. He's done.
I think it's going to be. Do you think it's? Yeah, like Kevin says, come on, Browney. Burnley got the meanest defence in the league. Exactly. Do you think? I wonder what it's going to be like. I'd love to be going to that Stoke game, by the way. God, I'd love to be going to that Stoke game. Can you imagine?
Nice, wouldn't it? It'd be nice.
I wonder what it's going to be like. I'm
going to be stressed.
I hope it's not going to be one of those weird days that happen every now and then. Jayson,
Browney, behave. Tell him, chat. Tell him to behave. Like, what have I said all
Am I ruining the night? Am I ruining the night?
You're ruining the mood. We might as well talk about Pascal Struiker this year.
Exactly. No, it's all looking very, very positive, isn't it, Jayson? Very positive.
I mean, look at them losses for Sheffield United as well. I mean, in comparison, they just don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. We are, us and Burnley are head and shoulders above them. They don't deserve it, and I think that will play out. I just don't see, and I'm repeating myself now, but I just don't see any world in which they beat Burnley at Turf Moor. I actually think you're more likely to see them blast them away. I think Burnley could win that 3-0.
You think?
I really do. I think Burnley will just be at it. Bear in mind, if Burnley win, they're confirmed promotion.
Yeah.
So they've got it all to play for. So
it's that horrible thing. You know what it is as well? It's that horrible thing in Sheffield United's shoes as well, where it's like, this is practically over, but you've still got to have that competitive edge because you never know. It was similar to us. Was it? It was already over when we played Southampton at home last year, wasn't it? But there was probably a couple games before that.
It was still no. It was but we needed Huddersfield to beat Ipswich, didn't we? If you remember,
it's a horrible place to be, isn't it? Because it's like, well, do you go balls to the wall? Do you kind of really, give it everything, but then kind of maybe risk I don't know, whatever for the playoffs, or do you
Yeah.
just kind of, drop it a little bit? So oh God,
If we
nothing
win
worse than
on
winning
Monday,
those games.
Browney, if we win on Monday, it's done. You just don't worry about it. Like, it's in our hands. We win Monday, it's done. Sheffield United might even get a point out of that game, but they're not going to beat Burnley, mate. They're not. They're not going to beat Burnley at the turf. They're not. So don't panic. Don't worry about it. We've got this. We're going to be going to Millennium Square. I'm going to be ringing you up, Brownie. I'm on way. Where am I meeting you? Like,
yeah.
don't worry.
Live stream from Ellen Road. Yeah, it's gonna be class. Do you think someone mentioned in the chat earlier? They were saying like, it feels like that kind of when we went up with BLs, it feels like it's just starting to build now. We're all kind of that excitement, the reality of it happening. It's within touching distance. I think a few weeks ago, it's kind of most of the season kind of waiting to get to this part, and now it's here. It's just it's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels a bit scintillating, doesn't it? Like it's so close. And I can't remember the point in which we got to. Maybe it was the Swansea game where we were like, yeah, it's gonna happen. And then Barnsley at home, and obviously we waited for the West Brom Huddersfield game, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we needed Huddersfield to beat West Brom, and they did. If West Brom won that day, they continue, but they did. Huddersfield went and beat West Brom, Emil Smith Rowe.
Imagine if we'd have had the group then, Downsy. Like if
Huddersfield
kept us promoted. That would have been incredible.
Yeah, it would have been incredible.
I would have loved that.
It would have been incredible.
Get me a time machine, because that would have been brilliant. That absolutely brilliant.
I'm just gonna, as long as we win on Monday, and there is a chance that something could go wrong in that game, but I think we get it over the line. I'm just going to enjoy Monday night so much, just basking in the squabble between them two, and in whichever way. I mean, either way, whichever way that game went, win, lose, or draw for Burnley, I still think that it'd be done. So I'm not going to fret over any result. I'm just going to enjoy watching them two slobber knocker out between them, and
it's going to be fun.
Enjoy it, yeah.
Watching Wilder on the touchline just like lose his head completely, him and Scott Parker pushing and shove it.
As long as we don't lose on Monday.
Yeah, no. Oh, don't you start doubting it now. Come on, don't you start going on that boat. Come on.
Mate, Stoke wouldn't be able to get off that pitch. I'm telling you. They would be like scared cats. I'm telling you. They've got no to play for. We're going to turn up. They'll give it 10 minutes. We'll score. We'll win 3-0. It's gonna.
That Ellen Road atmosphere is gonna be.
It's gonna be rocking.
It's gonna be absolutely that's when it's like. I mean, do you remember like the atmosphere against Bristol Rovers and all that?
Rovers,
just just ridiculous.
Bear in mind we had 10 men, 1-0 down for 45 minutes in that game.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. Yeah, so we will be back in. We'll be back after the Stoke game for a catch up. We'll be kind of just waiting. I mean, maybe
are we going to do it before?
Live. Well, I was going to say, like, should we stay live and maybe kind of just hang around?
You know I'm
for the Burnley Sheffield United game.
I could maybe do it on the laptop and stick it like over there next to the TV or whatever. Yeah, maybe we could do something, and
that'd be good.
I like I wouldn't want to have to be permanently engaged with chatting. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty. I'm a pretty focused, intense guy when it comes to watching the football.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, I don't want to be. Yeah. No, I get
we'll chat about it. We'll
think about it. We'll think about it. It'll be interesting. Yeah. But yeah, myself and Jason will be back. It's 3:00 kickoff, isn't it? On Monday, so we'll be back after that. And we're nearly there, Leeds United fans. We are nearly there. One huge step forward again. Great performance from the boys, and there we go. 3 to go. Let's get this done. Nearly there. I'm going to go and get some sleep, I think, if I can sleep. I'm kind of so tired, but I'm wired, and I'm like, the game, and I'm like, do you know what I mean? It's just one of them, innit? But thank you, everyone who's got involved and dropped their comments in. And if you've not liked the video already, please do like the video. Get subscribed as well. Pop the notification bell on as well, because, with these different kickoff times, make sure you're catching up with me and Jason for our post-match reviews as well. And if you're following on X as well, give us a follow on there, give us a retweet and whatnot as well. We will be back on Monday, but I've been Stephen Brown. With me has been Jason Booker. Jason, thank you very much, mate.
Thank you, mate.
And we will see you again soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.